The following program is a SUTV student production. The views expressed are not necessarily those of Salisbury University, the University System of Maryland, its regents, administration, officers, employees, or representatives.
Such as Vice President of Student Affairs, Dr. Dane.
At 7:30 in the morning beside the Wayne Street parking lot.
Around the campus.
Good evening and welcome to SUTV Evening News. On Tuesday, Lobsang Sangay, Tibet's Sikh Young, was on campus to take part in a lecture series sponsored by the university's Bosserman Center for Conflict Resolution. Dr. Sangay spoke to a packed Holloway Hall auditorium about the struggles of his people. In his role as a Sikh Young, Dr. Sangay is the political successor to His Holiness the Dalai Lama. At the event, President Janet Dudley Eschbach presented Dr. Sangay with the Salisbury University President's Medal, the university's highest honor. And tomorrow, SU Student Health Services will hold a flu vaccine clinic for all students, faculty, and members of the university staff. The clinic will run from 10 a.m. until 2 p.m. in the Great Hall of Holloway Hall. The shot will be $15. In our attempt to bring you full coverage of this year's city council and mayoral elections, we've been sitting down with the candidates from each district. On tonight's broadcast, we bring you snippets of the interviews from the three men vying for the District 3 seat, two of whom are incumbents because of the redrawn district maps. We start tonight with Kevin Lindsay. Why are you running for a seat on the Salisbury City Council?
I interviewed for the seat last August, and it was only two districts then. I didn't get it, and I had no plans of running for it. I'm concerned about the future. I have a family here. I have two young kids, my wife. I have a daughter that's 8, my son is 6. And the recent death of Mr. Raheem Russell, who was a kid that I knew growing up, who was murdered, who was shot and killed by another young man that I did some work with in juvenile detention. And going to that young man's viewing, going to Raheem's viewing, looking at him there kind of, shook me. Emotionally, it kind of disturbed me, and I sat down with my wife, and I thought it was something that we should probably, or I should probably try to get into, because I really think that, the future is key to, they say, Frederick Douglass said, it's easier to build strong children and then to repair broken men. So without our future, Salisbury has a lot of things that they want to do, which I applaud them on, but without our future and the community involvement, I really think those things are not going to be getting done. So I really am concerned about the individuals growing up, especially with me having a family here.
And now we'll hear from current councilman for District 2, Tim Spees, who is now running in District 3 because of the redrawn district maps. Do you have some new ideas that you'd like to start working on?
Well, I have a continuation of a few ideas as well. What we've been looking at is developing downtown, and I know that the university is closely associated with what's going on downtown. We're taking downtown, or have a plan to take downtown, to a place where it should be, because we can never return to what it was. And I'm sorry that folks have that memory and want that nostalgia to overcome what the ideas are for downtown, but that can't be the case.
View Salisbury as a college town?
I wouldn't, early on, the university, like I said, just sort of stood alone and was almost a novelty, but with the growth that it's had in the past 15, 20, 30 years, it has become something that it has to be engaged as part of our city. Whether or not you would call it a college town. I've been to college towns that are good college towns, and I've been to college towns that, my God, you wouldn't want to live there unless you were a college student. We have to have a balance here between livability of college students and the presence in the university, and with the residents here as well. That's so very important. It actually speaks to safety, security, property values, the way the entire world looks at us. Those are all facets that we have to really be looking at all the time.
And finally, current District 3 City Councilman Jack Heath. I want to ask you about the city's relationship with the school. We're seeing bike lanes. We see things like the trolley. We see pushes. I mean, the donation of the plaza is another way to bring the school downtown. What do you see that relationship as? Where do you think that relationship should be? And do you see this as a college town?
I absolutely see it as a college town. Like I told you, my 3 kids went here. All got great educations. It's probably the best value in education that you can have. I think there's 2 things. I think the university, for sure, is feeling like they have a responsibility to the community more than ever before. Under Dr. J's leadership, it's become obvious that she thinks that the value of being in the city is very, very, very good. The rest of us.
What do you see as some of the biggest issues that will face this next council?
Well, we already spoke about my number 1. And I tied it in with, so that's 2 of them when you really look at risk youth and public safety. Fiscal responsibility is critical. You know, it's a cultural thing, and I guess from my business background, you spend what you can spend by the money you have available to you.
And that does it for the District 3 candidates. We'll continue to bring you more on the election as the weeks go. After this brief break, we'll have more news, sports, and weather.
Yo, check out this chef, right? Right? That's so gay. That's really gay. Dude, look at those pants.
Please don't say that.
What?
Don't say that something is gay when you mean that something is dumb or stupid. It's insulting. It's like if I thought this pepper shaker was stupid and I said, man, this pepper shaker is so 16-year-old boy with a cheesy mustache. Just saying. When you say that's so gay, do you realize what you say? Knock it off.
Hi, my name's CJ. A few years ago, my father became seriously ill. I did what I could do before he passed, but it took its toll. I lost my job, my house. I'm getting back on my feet, but I don't know when there'll be food on the table. How'd I do, CJ?
We could be twins.
Well, cousins, maybe.
Play a role in ending hunger. Visit feedingamerica.org/hunger and find your local food bank.
And the cancellation of this year's Sea Gull Century didn't stop everyone from taking the ride on Delmarva. Alumnus Bill Davis, who's ridden the Century every year since 1992, made the trip to SU on Saturday to continue his personal tradition. He began at 6:48 a.m. and took the 100-mile Assateague route of the annual ride. Davis, who graduated from SU in 1985, did admit that while he normally bikes to Salisbury from his home in Seaford, this year he decided to drive his wife's minivan. And it was a very exciting weekend in Salisbury sports, starting with men's soccer, but SU's Travis Nardella is joining us on set for all that Homecoming and Parents Weekend brought us in sports. Travis?
Thank you, Eli. It was a very exciting week, like you said. And it started off with men's soccer. They took on Penn State Harrisburg in a CAC matchup. And Salisbury had multiple first-half chances, and eventually Tyler Andrews got the scoring started in the 42nd minute with a shot from just inside the 18-yard box. They would add 2 more goals in the second half and give the Seagulls a 3-0 shutout victory. Now on to football. The Seagulls welcomed the 13th ranked team in the country, the Rowan Profs. Salisbury trailed 14-9 at halftime, and then in the third quarter, Salisbury started to blow the game open. It all started with Christian Wilson, a tipped and then intercepted ball at the 24-yard line returned to the end zone, giving the Seagulls a 17-14 lead. Later on in the third, Aaron Moore would cap a 79-yard drive with a 3-yard touchdown run that completely fooled everybody, including the camera operator, to put the Seagulls up 24-14. Later in the quarter, Ryan Jones would send it downfield to Isaiah Taylor for a 42-yard touchdown pass, making the score 31-14. That was one of two completed passes all afternoon for Ryan Jones. Rowan would climb back into it, though, making it 31-28, and they had one last-ditch Hail Mary effort and thwarted by Salisbury's defense, and they would hold on to pull off the upset. And with the win, Salisbury is now ranked 23rd in the top 25.
So we had an exciting weekend for parents to come to
Yeah, it was
SU.
a very exciting weekend.
What games are we looking forward to next week or next weekend and even for the rest of this week?
Well, this weekend, currently right now, field hockey is playing on the road against Wesley. But this weekend, a lot of home games. Starts off at 1 p.m. Women's soccer plays York, and football faces off against William Patterson, trying to keep their hot streak going. And later on in the afternoon at 6 p.m., field hockey is home, also against York.
You know, Travis, I thank you so much. While the Ravens are having these struggles, maybe that fans in the area have SU to look to. So thank you for that update, Travis.
Very surprising season for the football team.
Really? Well, thank you. Maybe they're carrying the weight of the Ravens. You know, they're coming in when they're needed most. And for the second straight year, the organizers of the World Championship Pumpkin Chunkin' have been forced to cancel the event. Organizers say they were unable to find insurance coverage for the gathering, which was to be held at the Dover International Speedway. While many, such as Delaware State Senator Brian Pettyjohn, are lobbying the organization to keep the annual Pumpkin Chunkin' in Delaware, the group's president admits that it is likely they will have to move elsewhere for the event to continue, which could bring Pumpkin Chunkin' right here to Wacomico County. The event raises thousands in scholarship money for local students. And today, the German Club held its annual Oktoberfest event on campus. Brooke Reese was there for information about this year's Oktoberfest and the future of the possible event.
The 43rd annual Oktoberfest was held on the Fulton Lawn today by the German Club to showcase culture, food, and fun for the community. The only issue is that this may be their last year hosting the event, as advisor and German professor Claudia Thompson retires this spring.
She's really great. She's really nice. She really, unlike a lot of teachers, genuinely cares that we know what we're doing and that we like what we're doing. So without Frau, I mean, it's gonna be sad because we're used to having her there, and she's kind of like everybody's like grandma. Like, she's friendly. She has parties at her house. She always brings us food. She always brings enough food that she knows we can take it home, since a lot of us are students on a budget.
It's bittersweet, really. It's been a wonderful group of students to work with, and just a wonderful club. This is our 43rd year, and every year it gets better. It's going to be sad to see this event go, especially.
Now they remain hopeful that their new advisor and German professor will help to continue this event next fall. For SUTV Evening News, this is Brooke Reese reporting.
To cap off tonight's broadcast, we've got Scott Purdy with the weather update.
Thank you, Eli. Here's what's going on. Our current conditions right now are at 65 degrees. We've got some clouds in the area, but they are clearing. We had a high of 71 degrees. Then we had a low of 51 for those of you that were up earlier this morning. A little chilly. We've got some moderate winds out of the west, 8 to 13 knots. Coming into tonight, we've got a cool and clear night in the 40s, high 40s. Then tomorrow it's going to be a beautiful day. Might not reach 67 if the wind picks up, but we'll see what that does. Partly cloudy tomorrow night in the low 40s. Looking here, we've got high down to our south, and we've got a low pressure up to our north. Right here is what I want you to look at. This cold front, this is some real cold air. It's going to be the coldest air that we've seen yet this season. Right here, that is that cold front developed almost over top of us. It's going to pass over us right about the mid-afternoon of Friday. You could see a few showers, but I don't think we're going to see much. Most of the rain is going to be north of us, mostly a dry front by the time it gets down to us. Then coming into Saturday, that cold front is now far off to our coast. We have a second one coming. That's just the final wave of cold air before that high pressure sets in and dominates over top of us for the rest of the weekend. I just want you to take a look at this, how deep that trough is formed. Normally that doesn't happen until mid to late November, and now in October we're getting that. New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and New York are all probably going to see their first frosts. That's going to be due to this deepening trough. We might not, though, because the bay with the warm water is going to keep us out of the freezing range. What that's going to do for us this weekend, we've got a couple games here at Salisbury. The football game kickoff is at 1 o'clock, 59 to 60 degrees with some clouds in the area. Same for women's soccer, and then field hockey is going to be cooling off fast. It's going to be clearing as well, less clouds, but it might be as low as 50 degrees when they have their face-off. And looking at our 5-day here, we've got a beautiful day coming up tomorrow. and it's going to be sunny. Then Friday, about a 20% chance of rain. Should be mostly dry though, but that's going to cool us off into the weekend. Saturday, we might reach 60, more likely 59, but look at these temperatures down here. They're low, in the 30s. That's the first time we've seen that yet this season. Now, Monday night is going to be the coldest one, and that might be where we get a frost, but that warm bay water should keep us above freezing. So we'll just have to wait and see. Thank you. Now back to Eli.
Thank you, Scott. There are very few better ways to end a broadcast than with a promising weather forecast. That does it for us here at SUTV Evening News. Thank you for joining us and have a good night.
Not necessarily.